Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whoever the hell you are, welcome to the Wondered Bliss Podcast, the very first episode. My name is Kevin Faulkner. I am an artist, poet, and recovering fool, wanting to do a little bit of good in this world. I spent enough time in darkness, and I'd like to bring a little bit of light. So here I am, trying to do just that. This podcast, I have hopes and dreams for it to turn into many more things than just what it is right now. Eventually, I want to have guests and all kinds of features and things on it, but for right now, I am confined to my bedroom as my studio, so I will do what I can, and what I can do right now is unabashedly promote the hell out of my book that I just released. It's an art and poetry book. It's called What Struggle Brings. And I'll go through the book. I'm going to go through my poetry, the different episodes, and talk about all the different topics and things that are through here. Because it's a lot of things. This book, What Struggle Brings, it's a fitting title. It's very fitting. Because I went through a pretty severe period of depression, anxiety, stress, addiction, escapism, nihilism, atheism, all the isms. I've been there. I've done that. And I played it out fully, and it almost fucking took me. So I know what it's like to be there. I know how bad it can sting. And I feel just very compelled to try to help other people if they are there to get out of it. Because it's not anywhere anybody wants to be. And life truly is. It's a fucking blessing. And a beautiful thing. If you're there and you see it that way. If you're not, if you're caught up by your heartbreak and your struggles and hardships, all the different things in life that make it tough, because it is tough, it makes it very difficult to see just the true wonder that it is, the joy that it is to be able to get to experience. And I've been there, but I'm back, and I once again am just enamored by the beauty that this thing is, and I want you to see it the way that I see it now. And I don't want you to feel the ways that I've felt. But all of that is in my poetry book here. I go through all of it. This was my way of processing and dealing with my shit. A way that made sense to me. I couldn't help but write. It seems like it's in my nature. But it did. It helped immensely, this process. And that's actually the poem that I want to go over today in the first episode is the first poem of the book. And it's titled A Reason to Write. And I'll perform it here for you. We'll go through it and talk about it some. And we'll call that an episode. I'm trying to keep these very free verse, very open, very authentic and unplanned, to just see where the mind goes, where my mind goes. It doesn't shut up anyway, so I may as well record it and put it out there. But I'll get to the poem. A Reason to Write. Well, I guess I'll give this a try. An attempt to explain myself to myself as I write things down, dissecting and learning from the things that I might say. Words that have never been muttered from my lips before. Things that I could never bring myself to say. Thoughts that I have gotten so lost in that the weaves and turns are tangled, webbed, and rotten disarray. Maybe this will help. Maybe soon I'll sleep well at night. And maybe soon I'll be sure of one thing. Me. Who I am, what I want, and who I strive to be. Because that's really something I should figure out. That's really something I should know now. As I try to build a life and home, trying to make something of myself. Maybe I'll be finally well. End scene. I apologize about my voice. I'm very hoarse today. I sound like I smoked 7 packs of cigarettes. I didn't. I used to smoke. Fuck, I was a heavy smoker. And even to this day, I've sobered up, quit, and all those things. I still suffer the remnants of the past at times, and put that out as a warning. Be careful what you do, because you will suffer the consequences of them. But this poem here, A Reason to Write, writing for me was one of the most influential tools in overcoming all of my bullshit. One of the most powerful factors in my life, frankly, was just writing. Not because I'm a writer, not because it is only what I'm meant to do or anything like that. No. The process of writing is a beautiful thing, an amazing thing, a powerful thing that anybody can tap into. You don't have to be a writer. You don't have to be a blogger, a journalist, or an author, or any of those things. No. Just grab a piece of paper and put your thoughts down. And because mainly what it's done for me, it helps organize your thoughts in a way that's manageable, in a way that makes sense, to clear them up and keep them from spinning and swirling and continuing to go down rabbit holes they don't need to go down. Because if you're anything like me, I call myself a creative person with a vivid imagination. Those thoughts can be very clear. And if you see them in your mind, they can be very visual, and they can start to turn corners and span every... What's the fucking word I'm looking for? Span every subject and topic that you could think of. And that is not productive in most cases. A good imagination, a creativity, all of these things is a gift. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to have. It's a great human characteristic in many regards. It leads to all kinds of inventions and inspiration, art, poetry, books, movies, all kinds of things. But, I mean, everybody has one. But it can also turn into unfettered anxiety. It can turn into intrusive thoughts and all kinds of things that can really start to get to you. And if you've gone through some shit, which everybody has, your mind is just always working, trying to prevent itself and you from getting hurt again, wanting to protect yourself. So it's not bad that any of this happens, right? It's only bad if it's left unchecked. And it's an easy thing to do for the mind to spiral. And all of a sudden you can find yourself down rabbit holes where you don't need to be. Deep and dark depression and all kinds of things. But writing can help organize that. It can help clear out a bunch of the nonsense. Because frankly, if you're swimming in these things, thought to thought to thought, all of a sudden you don't even necessarily know what you're thinking of anymore. You're just thinking for the sake of thinking. And it can become like unhinged and all kinds of things. But if you write it down and you read it back to yourself, you may look at it and be like, well, that's a fucking crazy thought. Why would I be afraid of that? That's never going to happen. And you can go through, clear out a bunch of nonsense and bullshit. But even the stuff that is true, that is real, that has hurt, that you're afraid to say to people, afraid to open up, putting it down and processing it in this way can help you deal with it. Because a lot of things, a lot of thoughts, a lot of fears are true. They're real. They've hurt you before. A lot of it's not made up, make-believe bullshit. A lot of it's real life experience that you're dealing with and reeling from. But once again, in the mind, left to its own devices, it can still travel down places it doesn't need to go. And can be a lot to try to understand and process on its own. But writing does help. So I would say, pick up your pen, put whatever your thoughts are down on paper, and read it back to yourself. See if it makes sense. See what it is. because it can give you a clarity that you didn't have before, and it's well worth your time. But I'll go through this again. I mean, because I say it in here, because that's kind of what it was. My whole motivation to write it all was, I guess I'll give this a try, an attempt to explain myself to myself, as I write things down, dissecting and learning from the things that I might say. Because frankly, I wasn't fully sure. When you have suppressed your feelings and internalized it and left it to that, it could be anything. It could be anything and everything. But words that have never been muttered from my lips before, things that I could never bring myself to say. Yeah, it can be a lot. And I didn't know when I was writing that how beneficial it would be to me. But it absolutely was. So I would encourage you, of course, go down that journey. Write your shit. Because it'll help a ton. It helped me out. And I'll go through these. I'll go through each and every one. I'm going to keep this first episode pretty short. I'll have more things to say about other ones, but life is tough. I mean, there's a lot that we have to deal with, a lot that we have to go through. It's not always fun, but it doesn't mean that it isn't beautiful. It isn't wonderful. And anything that I can do to help you or anyone else get back out of that darkness and find that peace and happiness, I want to do it. My intentions are pure and sound. And I don't know. I hope you stick around. I hope you hear me out and hear all the things that I have to say. Maybe it might help. Do I think that I have all of the answers? Fuck no. I have a lot to learn. And half of this is me exploring my own thoughts to see where they'll go. Because how else do you find truth? But I definitely have learned some things along the way. I may have a few grains of truth that might help you out as you travel along your own journey. But I don't know. I'm going to call it probably here for now. This has all been kind of unplanned stream of consciousness. That's how most of these are going to be. Because I kind of hate the curated bullshit that we see all the time. I think people are probably thirsting for real life. Thirsting for kind of real interaction. And granted, this is a podcast. It's not a face-to-face conversation, but I can be real with you. I can be honest. I can be free and thought-provoking at times. So I'm going to leave that to this. I'm going to make that this as much as I can. But, give me a follow if you want to follow along, of course. I'll be on many different platforms here. Leave the like, subscribe, do the shit. You know the things. Definitely, if you'd like to support me, get yourself a copy of the book. Maybe we can read along as I go through this. But I filled it with all kinds of art and poetry. Everything was all written, created, illustrated, drawn, painted, designed, all by me. I put my heart and fucking soul into this thing. So I hope you get it. I hope you enjoy it. But if not, I hope you just at least keep coming back here to spend a little bit of time with me, and I'll spend some time with you. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it can be a beautiful thing. But I'm going to call it there for now. Come back next time, and we can talk a little more. Peace.